I've been very carefully listening to the response of the audience, especially of the previous session. And what I could make of it was whether we are talking in terms of the quality of response that the audience or the traveling passengers expect from the Indian Railways. And whether the Indian Railways, and so long as it translates to the Railway Protection Force in terms of security, do we guarantee that or we do not guarantee that? And especially in the context of big bang reforms on the Indian Railways, which also comes over to the crucial issues of governance, inclusive of security, whether we are trying to transform the Indian Railways and the passengers therein from what you call a journey to an experience. I would certainly vouch for the experience also in terms of the security issues. I'm very much aware that by the time this conference has been over here for quite some time, that many of the data that I have with me have already been spelled out. But even for that matter, especially in the context of the Indian Railways, where the intensity and the volume of passengers is of a very high order, the challenge, the response tends to become very, very complex. I would certainly like to draw your attention to what our Honorable Prime Minister wants the railways to do, and that he says that railways is not for transportation only. It is the growth engine on India's road to development. Railways have an important role to play in the nation's development. And thereafter, there's another interesting quote which he made at the time of the Rail Shivir only 3 months back, and that is, innovation is essential as the Indian Railway has to bring about Gati, that is speed, as well as Pragati, that is progress. So we need to evaluate ourselves in the context of what has been happening within the Indian Railways. And as you are very much aware that the Indian Railways spans all over the country, and there are very many pioneering efforts that are going on in the present times, that we are not only foraying into many, many areas, we are also trying to connect all the state capitals of the Northeast region with the Indian Railways. Not only that, we are also attempting to connect and have a seamless operation, railway operation, right from the state capital to the militancy-infested areas of Jammu and Kashmir. Because from Udhampur to Banihal, there's no rail connectivity. But I essentially believe that once that portion gets connected, then of course the scenario of Kashmir will change a lot, and lot for the good. And the same thing applies about the northeastern region also. And not only that, it also applies for areas that have been hit by militancy in Chhattisgarh and in some other areas also. Now, I would just like to let you know about some of the security systems that we have built up for the Indian Railways. And it's not only the exclusive responsibility of the RPF in terms of providing security and protection to the railway passengers. In fact, it's a tripartite arrangement in which the RPF, the government railway police, and the state police, they all work in tandem with each other. And these have been spelled over here, but for the very fact that time is at a premium, I would rather not like to get into the semantics of it. I would rather like to go to the next slide. And then, of course, we must also try to understand as to how the RPF has been able to transform itself over a period of time. Prior to 1954, it was essentially a watch and ward, essentially concentrating on the property aspects, the stores and property aspects in railways. But especially with the RPF Act in 1957, we gave a statutory basis to the Railway Protection Force. And thereafter, in the year 1985, the Railway Protection Force was transformed into an armed force of the Union, which means it is at par with any of the other paramilitary forces like the Border Security Force or the Central Reserve Police Force, the Shastra Seema Bal, or many of the other forces that you normally talk about. And then, of course, it's not only that there has also been an attempt to legally empower the RPF with a set of rules and regulations, laws also. As I mentioned earlier we were only talking in terms of the security of the railway property. Now from there we have transformed over ourselves into security of the railway passengers and the railway premises, in fact, which also means that we need to have much more powers. In the year 2003, the Railways Act was amended to give some powers about managing petty crimes like what you call entering into reserved coaches or some nuisance going on, maybe smoking, etc., chain pulling, etc. So there, the RPF was given some power to arrest the offenders. But over a period of time, the process of empowering the RPF has started. And nowadays, especially, which of course is very much in the media, in fact, I was mentioning that there's a tripartite arrangement of having security and law and order and crime control within the railways. There is a persistent demand, and for the right reasons, that the RPF should be given much more powers in dealing with crime in a major way, which of course, at this point of time, the control of crime on the railways essentially vests upon the state government and not on the RPF. So this is one area where I would rather like you to know about it. And not only that, there are a lot of challenges also that has been coming up over a period of time. See, we are a part of the entire world ecosystem. And of late, you've been seeing in the newspapers, especially in terms of the sabotage that has been happening in the Indian Railways. They are a matter of investigation. Obviously, there could be technical reasons, there could be reasons of subversion, there could be foreign elements also. But all said and done, I would just like to draw your kind attention towards some of the challenges that have been posed about it. Now, we had a couple of sabotage, alleged sabotage and train accidents in recent times. To draw the landmark one in Pukhraya, that was on the November 21st of last year, we had a train derailment which led to loss of 142 lives, another 200 injured. Thereafter, in Rura, in Uttar Pradesh, on the 20th of December, we had 44 injured. I must apologize for the wrong figures, 2 dead. There was a confusion about there were no dead. There were no deaths. It was only 44 injured. And then on the 21st of January this year, there was an accident at Kuneru in Andhra Pradesh, which led to 41 deaths and 62 injured. And then, of course, there was an explosion in a passenger compartment of a train that was coming all the way from Ujjain to Bhopal, which left as many as 11 injured. And this is not only the case with India, in fact, this sort of subversive activities are going all the world over, and that has to make us much more alert and perhaps prepared to meet the challenges. I would rather take another 2 or 3 minutes of yours in which you can perhaps see what happened abroad. And we also had some of these incidents, in fact. This is Turkey. This is June 2016. This is Brussels, Belgium. This is a Thalys train attack in France, August 2015. The Madrid attack. The London attack of 2004. There's serial bombing in the Bombay suburban trains. is the most recent one. So having said that, there are a couple of areas which needs the special attention of the Railway Protection Force in terms of providing secure journey to the passengers. And that impinges more upon the security of women, where we have taken a lot of landmark measures, and more so in ladies' special trains, and also in trains which have a mixed application. The only thing that I can say that we are not only that, we are trying to have as many as 10% of the Railway Protection Force comprising of lady personnel. There's another very interesting area, and that is in terms of rescue of children, in fact. Last year, we rescued as many as 8,593 children. And because of these activities, in fact, and especially the landmark achievements which the RPF has done, that in the year 2015, earlier, we were given a certificate of excellence by the Ministry of Home Affairs. And we are committed to the cause of assistance to ladies, elderly, and infirm passengers. This is a very interesting footage of the CCTV cameras in Bhopal Junction, where we analyzed the CCTV footage, and we could get hold of all the perpetrators of crime within a space of 3 hours. That was a landmark achievement. This is a picture in which we have recovered as many as large number of pistols from a train compartment. Then, of course, drugging is a very common activity within the realm of crime in the railways. And in the year 2016, the escorts had rescued a passenger in unconscious state, and he was also carrying 99 lakhs of rupees, which, of course, was obviously returned back to him. There's one area which, of course, I would like to draw attention towards is the security helpline 182. And this is one thing, and especially I'm this conference also, I would also always recall the sub-TV also to popularize on our part and be our brand ambassadors for the security helpline 182. This is a 3-digit telephone number. And the moment anybody dials this number while he's traveling the train and he makes a complaint, we immediately get into action, because this has been constructed at the level of the division. And the response has been highly eulogized by all sections of the people. In the year 2015, we had 8,545 calls, and in the year 2016, we had as many as 134,000 calls. And the most interesting aspect is that a third of these calls are essentially non-security related, meaning thereby somebody would be liking to have medical assistance. Sometimes we get a message, I'm a heart patient, can I have this medicine? And we deliver it to him at the next station. Somebody asks for milk. Somebody asks for passenger amenities, not exactly in the realm of the Railway Protection Force, but we do it as a good Samaritan, or perhaps that is the need of the hour. And we can always say that this aspect of 182 has brought in a lot of good feeling for the Indian Railways. The satisfaction level is more than 90%. We also have an all-India helpline in 1800 11 1322. And because of these helpline activities, we could arrest accused who had escaped from police custody. There was an information had come over in which the gold ring of a lady passenger had got down on the had got on the track, and the RPF zoomed into action and could recover and bring it back to the lady concerned. Now, leftover luggage is a very interesting aspect. I still recall when I was a child and we used to listen. जापान में लोग travel करते हैं तो वहाँ पर आपका सामान छूट जाता है, वो सामान आपको अगले स्टेशन मिल जाता है. I can guarantee you that is exactly what is happening in the Indian Railways. And I would not be saying only thank the RPF, thank the Indian Railways for that. It's a very interesting development. These are acts of valor. On 12th of April 2016, Mrs. Y. Sana Devi fell in the gap between train and platform she was pulled out by an assistant sub-inspector of the RPF in the nick of time, saving her life. I was trying to get some more footage, in fact. I couldn't get them, but I still recall I had a very interesting footage in which there was a woman and the train was coming. I had almost been able to approach the lady, and our staff, they literally, without caring for their lives, they pulled her out. If I had that footage, I would have loved to show it to all of you. Now, this is very interesting. Again, I don't have the footage which I had really wanted to. We tried to do it from the archives. We couldn't get it in time. Sorry, I'm unable to work out that. There was another slide which I had in the archives, which we could not retrieve, in which there was a lady in pain. So she got down. The RPF lady constables, they surrounded her from all sides. They gave the parda, etc., the privacy, and she delivered a child on the railway platform. Obviously, we subsequently also intimate the medical authorities and other things here. But these are the things that in the Indian Railways, the RPF is getting into all these activities, and very, very proactively. And then, of course, we are encouraging people to respond to us on the social media like Facebook, Twitter, and we have the honorable Twitter of the Minister for Railways. And he actively supervises that. And I can tell you one thing, the moment things are viral on the media, or there is a requirement of some help on the media, apart from 182, etc., we immediately respond. And in that context, I can relate to you about a sacrifice that Sub-Inspector Prabhu Jyoti, he was in Mandya railway station in Karnataka. There was an information that was conveyed by the railway board, the security directorate, that some people have got into reserved compartments and they are creating a lot of havoc. The moment the train came into Mandya railway station, this brave sub-inspector, carrying along with him people from the railway police and the RPF, he led that team, restored order inside, and then in the true spirit of a captain of the ship or the captain of the train, he allowed all the, all his subordinate officials to come down, and by the time he was coming down, the train had already crossed out of the platform, and he was ultimately crushed under the moving train. I had gone over there to Mandya immediately after that, and then, of course, we did whatever we could do for him and for his family. And there's a very interesting message, in fact. These messages are very, very common to the DGRPF, but try to understand this thing, whether it is in the realm of duty of the DGRPF. Sir, I am a 72-year-old, and my grandson studies in IIT Kanpur, Mr. Karmakar's son, who had made ticket about 70 days before from Kanpur to Sialda in Rajdhani. The ticket got stuck in W in waitlist 2. Please arrange for a journey possible by sitting, because the grandson will miss Holy Festival. Please oblige, sir. The PNR number is also given. I got this. These things keep on coming to me, in fact, And it came around 12:30 in the night. And then, of course, I told my officers, in fact, this has got to be done. Even if you are not able to get the confirmation done, I think the commercial staff will always be angry at me that sometimes you try to be overbearing in trying to get some reservation done. We couldn't get a formal reservation, but we did ensure that he is able to travel in the train with some of our support, and he could make it. In fact, we could not do it from Delhi. Then, of course, we rang up Allahabad. From there, it was done. And as a matter of fact, we have started concentrating on the soft skills for the RPF, because essentially we feel that the requirement of a paramilitary force within the fold of Indian Railways has to be passenger-centric. That is the realization. And that is exactly what we are trying to say. And I've always been telling people, in fact, especially whenever I go to the field formations, I keep on talking to my people and keep on talking to them in Suraksha Sammelan. And you know what I ask them? Who would be the brand ambassador for the Indian Railways? Somebody says station master, somebody says RPF, somebody says something. But I essentially say, have you seen the Indian coolie with a red badge on, with a red cloth on? I don't want to don that red cloth, but you must try to emulate the qualities of the coolie in the Indian Railways. Whenever you go to a railway station, I don't think you ask the RPF, I don't think you ask the station master, even you don't approach the window, ticket window. Perhaps you ask the coolie, बताओ हमारा ट्रेन कहाँ है, हमारा ये कहाँ जाने वाला है? And be rest assured, he will exactly tell you where you have to go, where the compartment has to come. Not only when you engage his services, he'll bring you to that, and he is an epitome of efficiency. He will dump your luggage, he'll go somewhere, and you will be shivering. कि अब हम इसको अंदर कैसे लाएंगे, सामान अंदर कैसे लाएंगे? But at the nick of time, when the train comes in, he appears from nowhere and puts your things there, makes you comfortable, and even to that extent, maybe a bit of what you call, there's always an argument and other things keeps on going on, but ultimately he serves you and serves you with efficiency, determination. And I always tell my RPF staff that if you have to emulate somebody in the Indian Railways, I would say you must emulate the humble Indian coolie of the Indian Railways. So these are the soft skill training that we keep on imparting to our people. And then, of course, the Swachh Rail Bharat campaign. I do recall the discussion that was going on, especially the member of audience was, perhaps he was saying that the experience is not of the right order. Sometimes we also talk in terms of the capital class, and we also talk in terms of the need for a much cleaner Indian Railways. So we have also been trying to get involved with these activities in a major way. These are some of the monitoring through the CCTV systems and some imposing of fines by the RPF because we can be authorized to do so. And in that context, especially after having told you that I would rather like to see security for the Indian Railways, not only in terms of the crime scenario, but more in terms of the satisfaction to the railway passengers. And I'd also like to see to it that the railway passengers have a safe and secure traveling experience and an experience of traveling in the Indian Railways. And then, of course, in that context, there are so many solutions. Some solutions I've already mentioned. There are some other solutions also which can be thought about. I need not be repeating them because there are so many experts, and many of you are aware as to what RFID is, and many of you are aware as to what robotics are, what video analytics is. All these things are there which we are trying to incorporate in a major way. Having said so, I would not be liking to detain you more for the lunch, for the lunch, which of course is being laid. Is it the lunch? No. Or you got to speak only. So let us say you got to speak only. But after having said that, I would again thank all of you for having listened to me patiently and also for adulating my speech. It's been a great opportunity for me to have been given an opportunity to come and speak over here. And I'm really grateful to the subgroup, the Shri Adhikari brothers, to have given me an opportunity of showcasing the Railway Protection Force in the Reforms and Governance Conclave 2017. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.